Last night, Elon Musk, the wealthiest man on the planet, had a conversation with former President Donald Trump live on X, formerly known as Twitter, in what was probably the most watched live event in the history of the internet. Millions upon millions of people around the world watched live or listened live to the conversation between these two men. What many of you may not know is that several hours before that conversation took place, Elon Musk got a letter from leaders of the European Union essentially threatening him should they perceive any misinformation or disinformation coming from this conversation with President Trump. Fortunately for us, Elon Musk went ahead with that discussion with President Trump, but not before there was a massive cyber attack on X. The conversation was delayed by about 45 minutes because technicians at X had to solve these problems caused by an enormous cyber attack from somewhere. The moral of this story is there are incredibly powerful people, some of the most powerful people in the world, trying to prevent President Donald Trump from being reelected. We saw what happened a few weeks ago in Butler, Pennsylvania. Hopefully that's the last attempt on his life that we'll see, but there's no guarantee of that. There are enormously powerful people trying to prevent him from becoming the president again. If you look at the polls from likely voters that are done by all of the news agencies, Vice President Kamala Harris is ahead in many of these polls. I know some of you probably don't trust those, and I don't either. They're often wrong because they rely on the opinions of regular people like you and me. But what I would recommend you look into is the betting pools. There are actually people who are betting on who will be the next president of the United States. And according to those people, the people who bet millions upon millions of dollars on the outcome of an election, they're betting on Kamala Harris to win. Now, these are not regular people like you and me. These are people with vast resources. These are people with information that you and I will never have. And they are putting their money behind Kamala Harris. That's a reason to be concerned. And that's a reason to turn back to a subject that I've talked about in the past. The importance of electing the right people within your state. Now, I live in North Carolina. Most of the people who watch this video also live in North Carolina. There are individuals within our state, powerful, wealthy insiders who are trying to select our state's leaders without you. I'm talking specifically about the next Speaker of the North Carolina House. The current Speaker, Tim Moore, is on his way out. He will probably be a member of Congress this time next year. But his replacement as Speaker has not yet been chosen. Not officially. But there are wealthy people in this state who want to make that decision for you. and without your say. This is a direct attack on the North Carolina Constitution, which says quite specifically that it is the members of the House of Representatives who choose their next speaker, not wealthy donors, not just a handful of powerful insiders. So what I'm doing today and what I've been doing for the past several weeks is trying to counter that. The difference is I'm doing it in the open, and I'm asking you to help me, because together we can encourage our elected officials. We can encourage our legislators who are going to be in our state capitol next January to select someone who will stand up for you and not for the special interests. Someone who will choose you over personal gain. Someone who will choose this over this. Those are the people we need to put in leadership positions. The wealthy, politically connected people of this state have made their choice. I've made my choice. I want Jeff Zinger to be the next Speaker of the House. Many of you know that I host a weekly lunch meeting here in Winston-Salem. And if you know about that, then you know that the people who come to that lunch come from across the state. Men and women in elected positions, men and women who are candidates for those elected positions from all across the state. I have spoken with hundreds of them over the years. And the one that I believe is best suited to lead the North Carolina House of Representatives in the next session is Jeff Zinger. We need men and women in positions of leadership within our state who will refuse to answer the call when Kamala Harris and her cronies call and offer vast sums of money in exchange for obedience. We need Mark Robinson to be our governor. We need Dan Bishop to be our Attorney General. And we need Jeff Zinger to be the Speaker of the North Carolina House of Representatives in the next legislative session.